ethics in biorobotics. With your extensive work in biorobotics, do you believe there are ethical boundaries that should not be crossed in integrating robotic systems with human biology? How do we ensure these innovations do not lead to unintended consequences?
When we talk about bio-inspired robot, we want to actually use the nature, for example, human musculoskeletal system or anatomy system to help us understand or building robot that can work better with the human. So we do not have any human experiments. So when we do, we do not actually use human to do surgery or to exploration or anything. We only use human to perform some motions or some actions to compare with the robot that we developed.
I see.
So that's not.
So there's no like an integration of the robotics within a human body?
No.
Okay.
No. It's in the future, they might be. For example, if you want to put the robot to work with a human in the future, for example, we want to edit our elderly people at home, then we need maybe ask people robot. And if we go to last stage, then we need to complete all ethical approval to make sure that we follow all the rules and we adopt all the rules that are requested by any of the governing body.
So I have like a follow-up question on that. So it's about assistive robotics, and assistive robotics can significantly improve the quality of life for many. But critics argue that they may foster dependency and reduce human-to-human interactions. How do you balance technological advancement with preserving human connection?
Actually, when we are thinking about developing anything, we are standing on behalf of any inconvenient people or any disability people. So we are standing on behalf of them. We only consider about the function that they required, rather than we add some function that they do not need. For example, like we put AI on our smartphone, so that we sometimes we just, for example, our children, they lost the capability of calculation, very simple multiplication or very simple division. We won't do that. We won't add anything additional function to get the people to lose some of their intrinsic physical capability. No, we have no intention to do that. We only add the robotic element to assist them do some function that they can't do.
And what's your view on the robots? Like it's recently very popular on like social channels, robots that can do your home chores for you, like someone cleaning your house, cooking. Yeah. Tidy it a little bit. How far do you think we are from the moment where we have robots at our homes helping us with this like day-to-day mundane tasks?
To be honest, that is actually there are a group of people from Stanford University. They try to actually populate this and try to propose this. But from our point of view, it still maybe need 10 to 15 years before we can actually put a robot to work at our home. For example, take the easiest part of work. For example, if you want to ask a robot to bring a cup of coffee or cup of tea to you. If you place the tea on a plate and use a mobile robot to deliver, it's okay. But if you put robot arm with a hand, no. There's still not very stable robot arm and hand system can do that type of work.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay, so it's still far away. Their prototype an experiment can do the work, but the reliability and stability and robustness.
I'm very intrigued by the Tesla bot, I think it's called, right? That's planned, I think, to be like on sale from like next year or something. So that's like a very I don't know. I think I'm gonna get like a lot of tea spilled on me if we get this like in people's houses.
I don't think for cleaning or for something that can deliver or can talk to people, that is possible. But for anything like very do some very dexterous or very fragile work, for example, like our people at home, still long way to go. I don't think. I don't still need at least 15 years.
Okay, thank you for this insight. I'm going to move on to the next questions here, and I think it's about job displacements. And a lot of people are like worried about all this AI, robotics, and like, this guy's going to take our jobs. And given the rapid advancement in manipulation and like grasping technologies, do you foresee a future where robots will completely replace manual labor? Is society prepared for the potential economic challenge that this brings?
For this aspect, actually, as I mentioned, dexterous robot is still far away. Although we already have prototype and we already have done more for replacing, for example, human by using robot for manipulation, for operation in the workplace. I think the main purpose, as we mentioned, the main purpose is for developing AI and robotics is to make our life easier. Yeah. And although that AI is currently very advanced, for like ChatGPT, they can answer most of the questions, and they can also propose design concept to people. To do that, to prepare for that, I think in the future, but not near future. In the future, robot might replace some of the danger. The purpose when we always is to replace those workers in area with dangerous, with hazard, and with tarnish. That is not dirty. That is the environment not is suitable for people to do. We want robots to do those type of work. But for replacing people, I do not think we have, when we do the robot research, we have no intention to do so. But there's still, I think there's still a possibility that certain type of work, like packaging, like logistic work, those work might be replaced by robot, because those robot can do those type of work at least currently. So those simple work.
And so I have the last question, the closing question for you. There's like a lot going on in robotics, in AI, in biorobotics. And what are you seeing as the most exciting field in your view, personal view, that's developing right now?
For the most exciting part and the most interesting part of my research, we want to develop humanoid robot. And such a humanoid robot is, we can develop robot like our human body. And such a robot have several functions. One function is we want to develop such robot so that we can, if people lose some of the limbs, we can use those robots as a prosthetic limbs and prosthetic organs, okay, to help people rebuild their body. And second is, we can use such a robot to work with people, especially elderly people at home, so that it can communicate and contact with people without harming people. So that is second function. Third function is we want such a system to use as a training system. So we have we trained surgeons and we trained nerds, but those are based on cadaver. And cadaver are dead bodies. They can't move, they can't react. But we can develop some device can react and can respond to. For example, you have a cut on the body on the robot, it can react and can give you a response. Then it can provide better training devices for the surgeons and for the nurses. Okay. So we want to deal with such.
Ah, that's truly exciting. And you said it's like we're probably like 10, 15 years away from that moment, right?
Although, but still, I think it's because of the material limitation and the expert power limitation, it will take more, maybe 30 or 40 years more, because there's still limitation. It's not, we can't do those, especially in actuation. For example, we only have a motor, electron motors, hydraulic and pneumatic. We still have no motors or actuators like our muscle that can work so efficient, so powerful. So before we can conquer or can solve the problem, I don't think we.
Are there any like, it's really interesting for me to learn about that. I'm not from like academics background, so I'm just thinking about the motor, like a muscle motor. Is there like any research or work done on this type of a motor?
There are different group of people. People study, for example, human cells, human tissues. Yes, they are doing such a work. They're using chemistry method to develop such muscles.
Brilliant. So something's coming up.
Something is coming up, but they're still far away from real applications.
Okay, brilliant. So, and like, what could be the benefit of having a robot in like this day-to-day use cases when we need to look after our kids, or maybe there is like a shortage of labor in certain like industries?
In industries, yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, most of the time we want to spend time with our children. But sometimes, for example, we have children playing in a room, and they throw the toys here and there. And maybe after one day's work, you might feel very tired. You do not want to pack all the toys to get tidy the room. And if you have a robot can do that type of job, you will just send the robot.
You know what? I have one last closing question. Yeah. How long have you been with NERIC?
For NERIC, we actually start NERIC. When NERIC, even there's no building, we start talking about it. We planning about that.
Oh, so you were like the inception.
We have been involved in NERIC from the start, from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Or we can just maybe speak about today and the subject that's been covered.
Yeah, maybe that's better. I'm doing the innovation and future technologies track, so maybe we can talk about that part and how it relates to robotics and NERIC. Maybe.
Brilliant. So maybe let's start here. So we are today at the event organized by NERIC. Can you please tell us what you speak about today and the role and value it brings to our guests?
So my background's in nanophotonics and microsystems, and I'm organizing the track on future technologies and innovations. And these are the technologies that are providing the infrastructure that make a lot of robotics and AI possible with a view to the future. That's the general theme of the track that I'm coordinating. And this runs from topics such as microrobotics all the way to quantum devices. And we've got several talks that touch on these topics. We've got a speaker that is dealing with magnetic microrobots. I'm talking about the connection between nanophotonics and robotics. And we've got interesting talk on little microrobots that walk by using light. So it's a very broad range of topics.
Oh, brilliant. So, and is this talks targeted at people who are already embedded within the industry and this research, or it's just could be for anyone who just wants to learn?
Both, I would say. There's degree of being very technically specific, but at least the introduction to the talks is something that a layperson would be able to understand and enjoy. And
okay. Okay, brilliant. So I'm just thinking right now, I'm trying to process this in my head because it's like all new to me. What would be the kind of real benefit to a business that runs any sort of operation? Let's say they have some kind of like a warehouse where they produce, or maybe just some really basic example of like a warehouse that's distributing deliveries across the country, across Europe and beyond. What would be the kind of real application of what you talked about today in your track to this type of a business?
So depending on what the business does, for your example was a shipping business, the benefits or the connection can be closer or more distant. So in this case, the example that you chose is a little bit more further away from where this cutting edge technology is. But in principle, when we talk about different ways of visualization using different types of cameras for self-driving cars, for example, cameras that can see different parts of the spectrum, for example, this is all has a bearing on the shipping industry, the trucking industry. So there's always a connection. Now, if you're a surgeon working with very delicate parts of the human body, there might be a more direct connection. But in the end, all of these technologies are feeding into the entire ecosystem of robotics, manufacturing, etc.
And personally, like what applications are you the most excited about?
In this topic, I'm most excited about the medical applications.
Okay. Any particular application?
Anything that requires delicate manipulation in the human body or on living cells, all of these can be an application of this area.
You know, like not long ago, I was like watching this Neuralink because like everyone speaks about it. It's like the mainstream, and they have this robots. The plan that they will be just in the clinics, and then the whole operation is done by a robot. So there is no need for like a specialized surgeon. Maybe someone in the room, I guess, but not necessarily like a team of people. And as a regular human, I'm just thinking like, where else this type of fully automated robotics will apply in our day-to-day life? Is it done fully automatically, like even right now, but we might be not aware of that?
I think that's a bit of a stretch at the moment. There's always, especially anything that has to do with the human body, any kind of medical treatment, there has to be a human intervention. I don't think we can just trust the robots to do a surgery at the moment. Maybe that'll come in the future, but at the moment there is some level of human intervention in the process.
Brilliant. I have like maybe two more questions
Sure.
because like what we've noticed in a recent year too, it's like a rapid progression of AI.
Yes.
And I'm just like wondering in your field if you also notice this rapid progression in robotics.
Yes. My expertise is both on the robotics side and the photonics side. And I can see a very direct connection between the expansion of AI and photonics, because photonics provides a lot of the infrastructure that's needed for realizing hardware that all the AI runs on. So yeah, there's definitely been an upswing in the range of applications and the market relevance of, for example, photonics in due to the AI boom, and that's happened in the past couple of years.
Brilliant. I have maybe one or two. Maybe I lied before. I have two more questions. So the questions are, so right now there's like a lot of businesses, I'm guessing in a medical space, coming to like Salford University wanting to access the support around innovative projects.
Yes.
And how do you find this collaboration now compared to what it was maybe a few years ago?
Well, I'm fairly new to Salford, so I only have 1 year of history to compare to. But I mean, we have several entities within the research office that deal with this kind of collaboration and making links. And the more we're active, the more we have events like this one that potentially creates more links to the local industry for hopefully collaborations and more traction.
On the economic impact, is the development of nanophotonics technology creating a divide between technologically advanced nations and those lagging behind? How can we ensure equitable access to these innovations globally?
So there is always this concern, and historically it's happened. The other side of the story is that the more these technologies are expanded and the more they're available, their access cost drops. So, for example, if you look at a smartphone, the level of technology that it puts in your hand was unimaginable, maybe even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And so, because of this expansion, other countries have been able to gain access to this technology at lower costs. And then this has resulted in spurring other types of economic activity in their countries. So it is a concern, but it's not always negative. It can be a positive too.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Professor. Your work in rehabilitation engineering aims to restore movement in paraplegic patients using functional electrical stimulation. Mm-hmm. Some argue this technology could lead to unrealistic expectations and dependency on machines. How do you address these concerns?
It shouldn't be, as I start very well, it shouldn't be a concern. And the reason is we are working in rehabilitation and we are not machine dependent. We are electrical stimulation stimulate the active muscle, basically. And so therefore we are using the person physiology in order to restore motor functions. So it's not being dependent at all. In the long term, the idea or the effect behind this is to be less dependent, is to start as a rehabilitation tool. I'll give you an example. When someone breaks their legs, they use crutches. But they don't want to have crutches for the rest of their life. As you know, everyone who has used, I did break my legs, and as soon as basically I could get rid of it, I will be very happy. And I think this type of technology will have the same effect on people.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you for this answer. I'll go to the next question because we have a very limited time here together, and it's about energy reduction research. Mm-hmm. So in your research on smart grids and energy reduction, do you think the drive for minimal CO2 emissions justifies the potential high costs and technological risks? What are the potential downsides you might be overlooking?
Yes, okay, it does justify, I mean, in the long term, the effect. We are very much dependent of oil, and therefore using energy storage, for instance, and the way we can better optimize and use of energy storage is it has benefits of reducing carbon emission. Example, I was working an EU-funded project with Port of Felixstowe, when Port has a lot of crane, and crane old diesel generator. So the idea is to use the energy storage by recoup a lot of the kinetic energy, and there's a lot you can get out of that. As a result, you can reduce carbon emissions. Of course, it's worth the investment, but you are less dependent on oil prices, and obviously you can use carbon emission. I know often people say, well, what's the cost? I can use my car, but we are still oil dependent, and oil as we know, fluctuate for whatever happened in the world. Example with what happened 2 years ago when a country invaded another one, oil started to, rocket. And that's probably being energy independent is really, it's worth the cost for any country, I would say.
Wonderful. I have one or two more questions, but not from this paper. It's just from me.
Yeah.
And just wanted to ask, what are you excited about in today's technological developments?
So me personally, I'm probably less on the technology side.
Mm-hmm.
I come with a mathematics background, so I do like to understand. Well, I'm excited is look at systems, understand how systems works, and can we make the system better? Can we improve the systems? So, for instance, a system can be someone who suffers stroke. Can we basically use technology, and so can we use understanding the system, but via technology in order to restore motor function in some stroke patients.
So is that, sorry to interrupt, I'm just really fascinated by the work of Neuralink and the way they try to restore certain patterns for people who had a stroke. What's your view on that?
I mean, there's a lot of work being done in using rehabilitation for stroke. One of the things is it really the best? So for healthcare, I will say, is technology is the best? Is the answer? I would say yes and no. I would say short term, yes. Long term, probably no. It needs to be probably, I would say, probably solution will have to come from a biological perspective or chemical or other thing. The technology is limited on the healthcare. It can help and support, but it's limited. That's my view. I'm not sure what's the
No, that's a perfect answer. And I have one finishing question for you, William. And the question is about the value of places like NERIC, Salford Innovation Forum, and the impact on the local ecosystem, in your view, on businesses that come to learn, to expand their offer, to improve their offer. How do you see this collaboration?
So this I think the problem in the UK, I think that the NERIC is a great place. The problem in the UK is there is a lack of collaborations between what's going on in research, the fundamental research, and academic working into deep and develop new technology, new methodology, new control systems, and the industry. And I think NERIC has its place. It's like a buffer between what we do in the academic world and what the industry needs. So the industry has some problems, and maybe the academics via NERIC can bring that technology and expertise to companies. So it's a great place to be, and I think this is really, I believe that NERIC has a bright future.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, William. That's it for today. We have quite a few shorts